Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our YouTube channel visual newsletter. Today's Thursday, January the 7th, 2016. My name is Charlie Castro. I'll be your host today. I want to thank you for being on with us today. We're going to be talking about some new lists of both discounted REOs and non-performing notes that we received the last few days. It's really kind of interesting. It's the first part of the year. You generally think things would be kind of slow and quiet, but I'll tell you what, this has been a pretty eventful week. We've received some really good new inventory we're going to share with you today. We've received some NPN tapes that we haven't seen in a while. We even received some REOs in California. So stay with us. We're going to talk about all that today. Today's what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about different inventory that we have available. We've been asked a lot lately, why are we doing these YouTube channels versus blasting out all of our inventory like we used to? And for those that know us, you pretty much, most of you should know by now, we just had a situation where our tapes going viral was becoming a habit, and it was causing heartburn not only for, not only for our sellers, but it was also causing heartburn for buyers trying to identify what tapes were actually legitimate and which ones were actually just sort of floating around in cyberspace. So we're going to be doing these every week. We're going to be doing them either Wednesday or Thursday, just depending upon what kind of stock we got in that week. We will be having occasional guests in. If you want to contact us, I've got my email address up there on the screen there, as well as my office line and my cell phone. And my cell phone is actually probably the easiest place to catch me. If I'm on my office phone, it's going to go to voicemail. If you text my cell phone, regardless of what I'm doing, I'll at least see the text and I can call you right back as soon as I'm off that particular call. So text me, you can call me, you can email me, but I'd love to talk to you. What are our goals for these broadcasts? The first thing we want to be able to do is streamline the buying and selling process. We really want to make this year a cleaner year with regards to getting the buyer and the seller in direct contact with one another, making it easier to consummate transactions. We want to make it to where we know that if we send a tape out that we've got direct access to it, either through the seller and or through the broker who's representing that particular list of properties. But we're trying to streamline everything to take some of the guesswork out of it, and we're trying to prevent our product from going viral. So it'll now be internet-based. Our content will all be internet-based. It's a lot cleaner way to do business. We're going to be introducing weekly inventory every week. That's what I'll be doing today. We'll be showcasing it. We won't be sending out the exact list, but what we will do is we'll provide summaries. Now, if you have a paper and a pencil, I'd ask you to have that handy. What we're going to do is we're going to show you some inventory that's new and available. And if you're interested in that, it's going to have a number associated with it. And if you contact us with that number, we can then send you that list. Now, are we going to ask questions like, are you the direct buyer, or are you the direct broker, or are you intend to mass blast? We're not going to give this out to anybody that's going to mass blast our tapes. We just can't do it anymore. If you have a direct buyer, we welcome brokers. We'd love to work with you. But this is only going to provide summaries. The list will then be made available by request. We're trying to eliminate your time, buyer's time, seller's time, everybody's time. What's the intent, goal, and purpose of these podcasts are. We also want to be a hub of information about what's going on in the industry. We still talk, Phil and I still talk weekly to different buyers and buying managers around the country. So we have a pretty good idea what's going on in the marketplace. So we're going to share that. We're going to share information about what's going on with you on a weekly basis. And then lastly, to provide a visual, not only for inventory, but also protocol. Very important. Most folks don't realize that in many cases, getting access and being successful to buying the property that you're looking for has as much to do with understanding the protocol as getting direct access to the list. And what I mean by that is, for a long time, folks didn't realize, all of the beginning of last year, people didn't realize that in buying off the Freddie Mac tape, that if you didn't follow a specific protocol, and if you didn't follow certain rules of the road, they rarely even looked at your offer. And so a lot of people would say, I make offers on these Freddie Mac tapes, but they don't even get back. Well, what we learned was that, they're not getting back to you because, maybe you didn't offer on it properly, or maybe you didn't use the right, they had a specific spreadsheet you had to use. If it wasn't filled out exactly correct, they wouldn't submit the offer. So protocol can be as important in some cases as the actual inventory itself. So that's one thing we'll be doing here, is talking about protocol on each tape. What do we see for 2016? Well, prices are going to continue to go up. Interest rates are going to continue to go up gradually. We got a little quarter of a bump back in December. We'll probably see another quarter, probably by end of first quarter. That's what everybody seems to be hearing anyways. We are seeing an influx of foreign investors. If you have access to foreign buyers, that may be the gold mine for 2016 and beyond. We're seeing a lot of foreign investors come into the American real estate market, primarily out of Canada, Asia, and Australia. So if you have ability to access foreign buyers, we'd love to talk to you. There's more inventory than buyers, and that's stabilized prices. People ask us, I'm going to show a property today that I sold 3 years ago, and I'm selling it, offering it today at the same price I sold it for 3 years ago. So prices are going up, but in the real estate investment side, prices have stabilized due to the fact there's so much inventory out there. We believe the broker protocol is going to tighten. What do I mean by that? Just simply mean that we believe that protocol is going to be followed much more closely than it has been in the past. And we also believe that for those that don't understand the protocol, you're going to have a hard time making deals. And if you're a broker out there or you're an intermediary, you need to know that in many cases you've had less success than you could have simply because you did not understand the protocol. It's getting a lot tighter. We believe that's going to continue into 2016. Current market conditions, as I mentioned, prices have stabilized. Now, one thing I have to point out, this is really important. If you contact us and you see one of these portfolios that we make available on these podcasts, if you request a portfolio and you offer on that portfolio, let's say in the 60 to 70% range of fair market value, the chances of you winning that bid is very low. What we've learned in the last 6 months, but really the last 3 months in particular, is that those buying at 60 or 70 or 80% of market value, depending upon the market, those offering ranges, they don't fly anymore. If you're an owner of a portfolio in Jacksonville, Florida, and you're cash flowing nicely at 12, 14, 15%, you have no incentive to discount that tremendously. Now, will you discount it for a bulk offer? Well, sure you will. But are you going to discount it to 60%? I haven't seen it in months. If you're in markets like California, where I'm at, you're going to look at 95% of fair market value. That's just going to be the number. And I point this out because I had people that were actually angry with me last year, the end of last year, because they were making offers on properties in that 60, 70% range. And they weren't winning the bids, and they were actually getting a little bit upset about it. And I understand that because, after all, people are used to being able to buy in that range for the last, since 2008 and 9. But the market's changed, and it's especially changed with cash flowing, tenant occupied portfolios. And that's what I'm speaking to here. Now, if you're looking for buys, if you're looking for discounted inventory, it's still out there, but it comes in the shape, form, and size of REO stock. So if you're looking, and a lot of people say, well, I don't want to buy REOs, I don't want to do rehab work and all that. Well, we understand that, but you need to know that that's where you can get deeply discounted properties. And I'm going to show you some examples of some inventory that is, you can buy at 50, 60% of fair market value. That stock is not found right now in the cash flowing portfolios. Now, if you're in a market like South Carolina or Kentucky or Idaho, in places like that, you might still be able to get performing stock at 60, 70% of fair market value, but not in places like Atlanta, New York, Florida, California, Arizona, Nevada, Texas. I mean, you're just not going to get, maybe Illinois, maybe Michigan, you can get some deep, in Ohio. Those are places in the Rust Belt where you can get, maybe 70% of fair market value on performing inventory. But in those diamond states, you're just not going to find it. So you look where the buys are, and the buys right now is in the REO inventory. I'm going to show you some of that. There's lots of that inventory. I have a ton of it. It's probably more of that inventory out there right now than anything else is the REO type of inventory. Now, we can customize a list or a list for you if we know what areas you're buying. In other words, if we know, well, there's two things we need to know primarily. Number one, do you want vacant or do you want occupied property? So do you want cash flow turnkey property, which would be considered occupied, stabilized property, or are you looking for REO vacant? It needs rehab, deeply discounted. We need to know which animal you're looking to buy. The second thing is, if you tell us where you're looking to buy it at, we can customize you a tape. Yeah, we've spent a lot of time in the last 6 months developing a database where when we get inventory in, it goes into one database, and Matt here in our office can then customize a list for you based upon what your buying area is. So instead of for example, REO inventory in many cases come in large lists. Like, for example, the one we have right now is about 1,700 properties. Well, if I send you that whole list, you've got to dig and sift through that thing to find the properties that are in your area that fit your criteria. So what we're saying is simply, hey, we'll make it easy for you. You tell us where you want it. You even give us the zips or the counties. We'll just send you back what you're looking to buy in your area. We'll save you a lot of time. We'll narrow that focus down, maybe multiple different sellers, but we can customize different lists for you based upon your geographical footprint. Okay, inventory. Look down to the left here. You'll see number 701. Every tape is going, or not tape list, portfolio, whatever the personality of the property package may be. We're gonna have it's gonna be associated with a number, and if you request that number, then you'll get that particular list. We're going to start with 73 properties in California. Now, disclaimer: I've had horrible luck with California inventory. It seems like when I get it, it's either sells faster than I can get it out, or the asking prices are higher, much higher than what sellers or buyers want to pay. So that's my disclaimer. Buy at your own risk. This is California. It's the wild, wild west. Properties are overvalued in many cases. You do not see many lists like this in California. This is all over the state. We did run some Zillows. The asking prices appear to be below market value. How much will they take of their asking price? Is it going to be 95%, 100%, 90%? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there today. Today is Thursday. It went out to a few people this morning. So if you're seeing this, I think this is going to be posted tonight or tomorrow morning, which would be Friday the 8th. We'll probably not even have offers in yet. So I don't have price expectations from the seller. We're just going to have to figure that out as we go. There is 6% in fees, and only 2% goes to the buy side. That's highly unusual. I was told today that if we make a bulk offer, that they would split the fees 50-50 with the seller's broker as well as the brokers on the buy side, but it's a 6% fee. We do not have price expectations on these. I was told this morning these are all still available. So we do have some California REOs, but again, my disclaimer is you need to offer fast, you need to be aggressive. You do not want to come in at 80% of asking price. It just does not, that will just not fly. It will require a formal proof of funds and a formal letter of intent in order for the offer to be considered. That's tape number 701. Our second list, we just got this the other day, 83 non-performing notes. These are nationwide. When I say nationwide, I mean nationwide. These are all over the place. There's even some in California, and there's some really low value ones in here. I don't see a real low one on it, but there's some in here that are as little as like $20,000. These are non-performing notes, by the way. And you've got some properties on this list that go up to $500,000. So you've got some real steals in here. Now, here's the good news on this tape. The fair market value is almost $5 million. The bulk price they'll accept is $1.9 million. That's less than 40% of the fair market value. Last night I was told that on a bulk offer for the whole thing, they'll even take less than 1.9. You can cherry pick this. The minimum order is 5. You have to buy at least 5 of these, but you can cherry pick it. So you can take this list, go through it, pick out the 10 or 15 that you like, make your offers. I believe even on a small cherry pick, you can probably get these pretty easily at 50% of fair market value. There's some real good steals on this list. So if you're looking for non-performing notes, highly recommend you get your hands on this one and cherry pick through this. It's tape number 702. I've only got 4 notes in Brooklyn. They're strategically important in that this is a large seller. We've been told that if we can perform, that they will give us more inventory in Brooklyn. Actually, Brooklyn, Manhattan, and I believe Harlem or maybe the Bronx. I can't remember. But anyhow, this is a very reputable fund that has these notes. They're giving us a test drive. They can be cherry picked. They're just 4 notes. Strike price, as you can see, is not cheap. These are solid B-class Brooklyn type properties. Contact us for tape number 703. We got a list of 16 Chicago non-performing notes as well, and this seller here will take 60% of the NPL. By the way, if you notice when I talk about stabilized cash flowing inventory, I'm talking about offers from 70 to 95% of fair market value. And when we talk about non-performing notes, we're talking about 30, 40, 50, 60% of fair market value. That's why the hedge funds start buying notes. So if anybody's wondering why, when I say it's a buyer's market and there's lots of inventory on the market, the reason is a year ago, the hedge funds were buying all the REO stock and all the stabilized portfolios. Well, they stopped at the beginning of this year and started buying notes, but you can see why. You can get notes for still at 30, 40, 50, 60% of fair market value. Or on the flip side of that coin, if you're a guy that built a portfolio of 100 performing assets in Atlanta, you're not letting those go for 70% anymore. You're selling those for 80 or 90%. And that's the reason why the funds went into buying notes. And that's the reason why you see so much inventory on the market. And that's why you see prices have stabilized. And it's a great year to buy, whether it be REO or even portfolio stock, because those prices have stabilized. because the hedge funds are no longer buying in that space for the moment. We believe they're coming back, but for the moment, they're not buying in that space. Okay. In Detroit, I have a boatload of inventory. I've got houses down from $1,000 to $2,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 to $50,000. I've got tenant occupied, all brick homes that are throwing off 15% yields. I got a bunch. If you just say 705 and tell me whether you want vacant or occupied, if there's zips you like or zips you don't like, I can send you whatever Detroit inventory you want. I've got 4 suppliers right now that's giving me Detroit inventory. So I started putting up samples of each. I didn't bother to do that. I've got tenanted, I got vacant, I've got $1,000 doors, I got $50,000 doors. I just need to know what you're looking to buy, and we can get you what you're looking for in Detroit. That's tape number 705. Jacksonville, Florida. There's folks that may have seen this bounce around. This was actually floating around about 6 months ago. Bunch of people got a hold of it, decided they were going to make wallpaper out of it and plaster it all over the internet. And a lot of people saw this. This is actually owned by a small fund. They are very well aware of the fact this tape was bastardized. It fell into the wrong hands and was, again, shared throughout, virtual reality. And so we are now direct to the broker on this that has this. It's not being blasted out anywhere. These are 50 solid homes in Jacksonville, Florida. They're all tenant occupied. Cap rates are right from 10 to about 13, almost 14 in some cases. Sellers flexible on the price. They want to sell it as a package. They're not looking to sell this in pieces. It'll only be sold as a package. And I asked them, they said 80% of fair market value, and I went back and I said, if it's a bulk offer, would they consider 70? And they said yes, they would consider 70%. That's tape number 706. I already mentioned Detroit. I'm not sure why I have that slide in there. Well, this just gives you an example. These are some of the low-end Detroit stuff, $1,750 a door. You can cherry pick those. Quick claim deeds in a couple days. I mentioned REO tapes, and I mentioned those large tapes that we get every month. We get this tape every month. We're about to get our new one for January. I don't know how many there's going to be. Last month we had 1,700. We did a lot of sales off this tape. This is the type of thing where you want to say, this is the area, this is where we want to be. Send us the list just in those areas. What I love about this tape is a couple things. First of all, they're all over the country. If you're in Kentucky, we got Kentucky. If you're in Idaho, we got Idaho. If you're in Florida, we got Florida. They're very flexible on price. If you send me the properties that you like, we can send you the lockbox codes. Protocol is very simple. I send you lockbox code, you go look at it, you submit an offer, we go to contract. It's very simple, very clean, and this is where you get your good deals. This is where you can get stuff at 40% of value, 50% of value, 60% of value. So these are the kinds of tapes where you can get your deals at. But again, love to know where you're at. I don't want you trudging through 1,700 homes to find 3. We can do that for you. Ask for 708. Those are national REOs. We've got 69 properties that are tax deeds in Jacksonville, Florida. These are about $1.3 million for the entire tape, $18,000 a door. These can be cherry picked. They like to do at least 5 to 10, but these are some serious. If you look at the Zillows on these folks, you're buying these at $18,000. Here again, this is where you can get great deals at, is in stuff like this, tax deeds in this case. Excellent stuff. Portfolio buyers, okay, again, I can't give any of this information out. The sellers will not allow me to do that. You got to contact me, ask for the tape. We'll get you a copy of the list. You can go look at it, do your due diligence, but I cannot share. In some cases, these folks won't even let me do a summary. We got 77 in Georgia. That seller there will actually carry back some paper, tape 709. Got 63 in Southern Georgia, extremely motivated. That's list 710. I talked about Detroit. Also got packages in Detroit too, so if you're looking for Detroit, let me know. The Jacksonville 99 did sell. I should have taken that off, but we got the sold sign up there. In Arizona, we got 300 single-family homes. They're it's a $52 to $56 million buy. I can tell you that if you contact us for that, you'll need to go under an NDA. It's an offshore investor who owns these. He will not let you cherry pick. It's an all or nothing buy, so you need to have a proof of funds in the $50 million range. What else? The cap's a little over 6. Cash flows at about $900,000 a month. It's tape number 713. And again, the first thing that they're going to ask you for on that is POF. 26 in Vegas, we have a contract coming in on, but it's still available. Again, I can't even give a summary out on that, but if you're looking for Vegas inventory, I've got a small portfolio of 26 in Nevada. Got this last night. We sold this house. This is what I mentioned. We sold this house 3 years ago for $58,000. It's now for sale for $58,000. You see the taxes and insurance. What's nice about this particular property is that there's a note of $24,000 in the property. It's a $300 a month, no interest loan from the original owner of the property. So it's a it's a $33,000 down payment. The rest of it you pay $300 a month on the note. It's got a huge ROI of about 13%. You pay off the note in about 2 years. You got like a 20% cap on that at that point. $645 per month in free cash flow. That's in Birmingham, Alabama. We don't get many properties that you can carry paper on. This one, seller's carrying back about $27,000 in paper. If you want to contact us, is our contact information. I gave it to you early on. If you want to contact Matt at matt.castro91@gmail.com. Matt is the man you want to talk to with regards to having a tape customized for you. If you just talk to him, tell him what areas you're looking for, he will be glad to go into our database and pull out the properties that you're looking for. Again, what we're trying to discourage is do not blast our tapes out. We will provide lists to folks up until the time we find out that they've taken our lists and they've shared it on Facebook. Okay, thank you everybody for joining us today. We'll be doing this again next week. If you have questions, you got my contact information up here. We look forward to talking to you. Everybody have a blessed week and look forward to talking to you all real soon.